What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim. Gonna be playing a game on TCG today, and today I'm rocking Zoroark Garbodor. Gonna do my best with this deck. I'm not gonna lie, I don't exactly play a ton of Zoroark decks. I mean, y'all know this. I have not just been on the super big Zoroark train all season. I'm just not the biggest fan of the decks. Now, I do acknowledge that they're very good. I think there's been multiple points within the last 12 months that Zoroark decks have been kind of just ubiquitously the best decks in format, and that's just the case. I think right now for the World Championships, I think they are in the top 5. There are some Zoroark variants, Zoroark Garbodor, and Zoroark Control, which both qualify as being some of the top decks in format. They're just not super, right up my alley. And the thing is, in my case, I've been playing the game for 6 years at this point. It's all right, you see decks have their hot streaks and then their cold streaks and things like that. I try not to be super big on certain archetypes, lock myself into certain archetypes. I try to play different things and so on and so forth, but the game's constantly changing. So it's if I miss the Zoroark train, so be it. It's going to be a hot deck for probably a year, and then I think it calms down a little bit after rotation, and especially next year when Puzzle of Time is gone in both standard and expanded formats. I think Zoroark still has an opportunity to be very good. It just might not be that crazy deck that it was this year, and sure enough, here is an awesome starting hand. So it looks like I am playing against the Buzzwole Garbodor deck, that popular rogue deck that we see kind of cropping up here. I think at this point I just have to single puzzle. Yeah, there's no other way about that. And yes, we're going to throw that N on the top there. So we're going to make sure that we get that N. And then I think that I probably go in and just start popping these guys with Lele. So that's not exactly stellar, but it's fine. I know that I'm getting an N next turn. Hopefully we could get some other cards off of that N. I need to start setting up my own Trash-a-Lanche Garbodors. My opponent will probably want to set up their own Garbotoxin Garbodor, more or less lock my deck up. This should be a very difficult deck for me to beat, I have to imagine. They just have type advantage in this baby Buzzwole, which they just play a bunch of. As I play more items, they will have more power with their Trash-a-Lanche Garbodors as well, and they just aren't going to play any GX Pokemon on the field. That's kind of their game plan here. And then as soon as they get their Shrine of Punishment out as well, that's going to be a pain for me. And what's horrible is that Shrine of Punishment can only be countered by my own Field Blower, which is another item in the discard. So that's just super rough for me. So we're hitting 2, 4, 6 right now. 6 plus 10 is 7. And then I'll hit 6 again. So there's really no point in putting another energy onto this Lele here. I'm two-shotting this thing. That's just the way it is. The choice bands, all that. There's no real point in that. So we'll just think I want to increase my odds of drawing better cards though off of this. So I think I will attach that Floatstone, and then we're just going to end. So there we go, and we're off. We've got ourselves a Parallel City and an Oranguru. That is just kind of brutal. So I could hit this guy, or I could go up with Oranguru and just start to resource management a little bit. I don't mind that too terribly much. I could single puzzle and then resource management, but then put 3 cards from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck. Okay, so then that actually keeps my, that's actually kind of cool. So I think I will do that. And then we're going to Puzzle of Time. We're going to stack ourselves an Ultra Ball onto the top. Yeah, we're going to get that. That's fine. And then we are going to throw, and I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't really have any abilities, so I kind of just have to, I guess Ultra Ball is the only thing that I can really do. I'm going to resource management. We're going to throw 1, 2, 3 onto the bottom of the deck. So that's fine. I mean, my opponent's not exactly going fast. It's going to get more rough for me when my opponents, if they get like a beast energy or if they get a strong energy and they just start using, they start using swing around, then things are going to get kind of hectic here. So we definitely don't want that. Rangaroo is cool and that it keeps that, stuff out of my discard pile, so that Trashalanche is kind of nerfed. But with this board setup, we've got absolutely nothing going on. My opponent's got a very threatening board over there. And I don't know, I feel like this just always happens to me with Zoroark decks. I never get Bridget, it never happens. So, here we go. I think that Parallel seems like really good. And then I think I just Ultra Ball those 2 cards away for something else. So let's just Parallel my opponent just to limit them, make them discard things. And then we just will have to Resource Management again. I think I'm going to Ultra Ball and then Resource Management these things back into the deck. I mean, I could not. That actually seems fine. And then just like smack this guy. I think I might just do that. Let's just retreat and hit him. And we're going to go for like a 2-shot here. We're going to see if we could just Energy Drive, actually knock out a Buzzwole, maybe draw some cards that way. I think throwing the Floatstone and the Zoroark back into my deck, Ultra Balling for 1 other card, it's not super necessary right now. I don't have my abilities, so getting a Lele is like not going to do anything. Getting a Zorua to evolve into the Zoroark is definitely not going to do anything. See, my opponent wants that Oranguru out of here, and I don't blame them. That's totally cool. And then my opponent's got a Choice Band too. That's not good for me. I will be totally content just knocking out this Buzzwole and hoping that I get a supporter or something like that off the draw. If we don't, then we are just in a world of pain. And we're also just extraordinarily lucky that my opponent has not been gripping these Shrines of Punishments. Those would be horrible for me also, just because this Lele would be melting before my eyes. So, we got nothing going on here, but that's fine. I think my Lele's got like 1 more turn in her here. She's probably not getting knocked out this turn. Another single puzzle. Alrighty then. Fantastic. So it's not good. We can't Ultra Ball for something and then single puzzle, I guess. But at that point, my opponent will have taken like 3 prizes. It's just going to be very rough for me here. So 80 damage. They are looking to knock out this Lele next turn. So I know they are very excited. Okay, let's see. What can we do here to buy ourselves some time? My opponent has 1 item in the discard pile, so Garbodor's not even going to do a whole lot. They're giving me the well played. Oh, they want me to go home. They don't think that I got it like that. Okay, so let's go get ourselves just another. Latios is kind of cool. If I could actually get a double colorless energy for it, this does 60 damage, so that's pretty good. Yeah, we can get that. And then let's just single puzzle again. See what we get. We've got Acerola and Garbodor. All right, so we're going like this. That's fine. Yeah, okay. So the goal here is going to be to just waste some time. Those top 3 cards are all really bad. So let's just retreat. Yeah, and then just we're going to pass. Okay. So this is horrible, and I got Acerola. If they got Guzma in their hand, they're knocking out that Lele. I need the Acerola to be able to get the DCE off of that Lele. But even if I do get the DCE off that Lele, I just know I'm like basically prolonging the inevitable here. Like I know that nothing good is happening. I could grab that Lele up, buy myself 1 more turn. I can go up and hit this thing for 60. That doesn't really help. Knocking out the Garbodor is more or less what I need to do. That's just like not happening. So let's just Acerola this guy up. I know, right? It's just like, this is just ugly. Ugly. All right, let's just get in here. And we're just going to Sledgehammer or Energy Drive. I know. Here we go. This is just sad. And then they just get to keep hitting for 8. They're 2-shotting me. I think that there's just no way that I draw out of this. I've got 1, 2, 3 items in the discard pile. It's just not going anywhere good. This is just like the slow, just Like this just happens to me with Zoroark way too often. And so I've never been a huge fan of the deck, though I do understand, like, you get set up, you could just, the options are insane. Just being able to trade so much every turn, you just have so much going on. I just feel like I get myself in these little grinders here far too often. All right, we're going to give my opponent this one. They got it. There's nothing I'm doing here. I'm just wasting time. So let's try to roll another one, see if we can get a little bit of a better game here with Zoroark. Maybe we'll start out with a turn 1 Bridget. That would be great. And, you know, then we can actually set the deck up. Maybe get a Zoroark in play. There were no Zoroarks to be had that game. There was just none at all. Looks like we were playing against a Psychic and a Lightning and a colorless deck. I don't exactly know what this deck is going to entail, but hopefully it's interesting. That would be a lot of fun. Chromosome won the flip there, so they're going to be going first. Let's see, and this is a much better starting hand, though still not great, because I also feel like this happens with Zoroark all the time, is you just get into these like, okay, guess we're going to bridge it, and then single puzzle to hope we draw out of it. Latios is a pretty ideal starter, though, not going to lie. My opponent appears to be playing some sort of Raichu deck. Okay, so like that, looks like that's what's going on there. We are just going to go get 2 of these guys and probably, I mean, I could get like a Lele just to, you know, but I don't have a float stone. If I had a float stone in my hand, I could have just donked him right there. So we'll get a Trubbish too, just because, who knows. Got Garbodors in my hand, could be pretty good. Then we're going to start out here. We'll play the single puzzle just to take a look. And sure enough, whenever you play the single puzzle, it never really matters. We had Ultra Ball on the top of our deck anyway, and we got Breakthrough for 30. My opponent should be pretty concerned. If they don't have anything here, then this game's going to be over extremely quick, unless they like nuzzle me or something. They do have a Raichu GX. Sure enough, we are playing against a Raichu GX deck. Raichu, though a super fun Pokemon, I don't think that it has a lot of potential at the World Championships. I think fighting is just way too good right now to warrant playing. And, oh, I see what they're doing. They're doing Raichu Electrode with Max Elixirs. Their idea is they're just going to just jam a bunch of energy into play and then kind of overwhelm the opponent with this powerful Spark attack. So very cool. Very, very cool. All right, we've got some things. We've got a Zoroark. I don't really feel like, I mean, good thing we don't just lose. I was going to say we're pretty much, and the Xurkitree could have just defeated us, but yeah, not quite. We're pretty good on that. I don't need these. We're going to get ourselves another Zoroark out, and then we're going to Cynthia and trade a couple times, and then probably just do the old, breakthrough again. That's what I imagine is going to happen, but we'll see. All right, we've got a third Zoroark, but I can't play it yet. We've got another Trubbish. That's good. Mysterious Treasure. I think we just, technically you want to start trading first, so like that's what we're going to do. I'm going to trade away the Mysterious Treasure. I'm not exactly sure that I want to lock up abilities yet. I mean, I could. That might actually be kind of good so that they can't explode with their Electro GX. That's probably for the best, so I probably should do that. Let's trade again, and we're going to trade away the Lele this time. I think that's what's going on. But I don't have my own Field Blower, so I don't feel confident enough in my own board state here to warrant locking things up with Garbodor. So I think I'm just going to drop another Trubbish here. I don't have Floatstone, or I don't have DC or anything like that, so we are definitely going in with Breakthrough. I can do the Choice Band. The Choice Band does make a little bit of a difference, yeah, because then I could knock it out with Zoroark pretty easily, and then we're not going to hit the Xurkitree because we can't actually do damage to that Xurkitree. We are threatening that Voltorb, though. If it doesn't turn into an Electrode this turn, that Voltorb could, and I guess I'm getting Powerful Spark, so I was going to say I'm probably not breakthroughing again anytime soon, so that Voltorb's kind of just safe. He's fine. My opponent's going to knock this thing out. Field Blower, get rid of my Choice Band and my Parallel. That's fair, but at this point they're only doing 2, 4, 6, 80 damage, right? Oh, they play their own Parallel. Boo! We are going to get rid of Zorua and Trubbish, probably. We want to keep at least one Trubbish on the field for us, and that's the thing about this deck. I really have no idea what I'm playing against. I didn't know that they would have played Parallel. I didn't really know what was going on at all. And they are just going in, and they're going to arrow trail there and then Sky High Claws. They want a different attacker in play. So interesting. They got Sky High Claws. Very cool. 130. Fine. Clean attacker. I see what they got going on here. Okay. So we are just playing that 2-hit KO game again. I mean, that's just what we're doing. We could Guzma and knock this thing out. 90 if we do 120, we could. But yeah, so we promote a Zoroark here. See how many items my opponent has in the discard pile. They only have 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're not like really in there deep yet. I think that we're just going to trade away at this point. Probably the Zoroark is fine. We can rescue Stretcher these things back in. I suspect that my opponent is just going to hit it. I want that Acerola. I think that I might want that. We kind of need an energy. So at this point, I can attach a Flowstone to my active and then N potentially. I have one puzzle in my hand. So I think let's just... we can Evo Soda as well. So let's Evo Soda. And let's go get ourselves a Garbotoxin. It's kind of good. I'm like not super worried about my opponent's abilities yet. Oh, and I was like, I don't know why I was worrying about Xurkitree. I have Garbotoxin. It shows how much I play this deck. Okay, so here, like I said, I'm not super worried about my opponent's abilities, though they can bounce between Tapu Kokos. I don't know how many Tapu Kokos they play. All that. I mean, I actually don't really mind if they blow up that Electrode. That seems like kind of good for me just because it definitely thins the deck. I probably should have like Evo Soda before I traded there, but it's fine. That's just what we're doing here. And then I think I want to end. I'm just going to end my opponent. See what I get off of this 6 cards. Double. See, here we go. We're cool now. And then I think that I can double puzzle for... Let's see, I need like a field blower. I haven't seen any field blowers yet, so that's a little frustrating. I can't double puzzle. I could get a DCE back, or I could just go and I could like, I could Rangaroo some cards back into play. I could Trash Lance a little bit. There's a whole bunch of things I could do here. Losing the Trash Lance right now doesn't really seem like an optimal play. I think we like keep the Oranguru for when we want to do that, but we probably just continue putting damage on board. So let's just double puzzle and let's get that DCE and the Zorua there just to kind of try to stream some things. I think we do that. Yeah. And this is unfortunate, and we're not doing like a ton of damage here. I guess okay, yeah, I should have traded first. I'm like, I am struggling. That's fine. But that doesn't really change too much of what I would have done. So I do want the Zorua down. It would have let me see if I got the field blower maybe off of the trade. So I definitely wanted to be informed of that, but that's fine. And then coming up here, we will like a Rangaroo eventually, but I think that this is just cool for now. So let's just Riotous Beating, get some damage in play. This is actually kind of tough. I mean, Zoroark decks are notoriously difficult to play, and I don't spend enough time with them. But this is kind of a weird matchup. These guys, Raichu's just got like a lot of hit points. Electrode, if he blows up that Electrode, dude, like what? Oh, and he's got Lantern to keep energy in play. I just have no idea like what my opponent is doing here. So very, very interesting. And they've got like not a ton of items in the discard pile, so I'm not really doing enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 100 damage with my own guy here. So let's see what we got going forward. I do have Guzma, so that's very good. They knocked out my dude here. That's very bad. Let's see. I think that I just trade a little bit and then go from there. I need to get a field blower. So before I do anything, I want to flex my bench out a little bit more. So let's trade away this Garbodor here. And then hopefully we get to trade something else. That Enhanced Hammer is useless, so we'll trade that away too. See what we're looking at here. Got an Ultra Ball and a Sycamore. I'm not playing that Sycamore anytime soon. I think I just want to I could do like 80 damage, but that doesn't knock any of these guys out. I feel like I have to more or less try to stick my opponent. I could bring up something like that Raichu, I guess. I could Guzma. I don't really feel like Guzma though. This thing is like not knocking me out, so that's fine. I think I could just afford to resource management here and throw 3 cards back into my deck. And they're just going to be 3 puzzles. Yeah, we're just going to do that. So I think that's what we do here. Let's just retreat into him. And then we're just going to resource management town. I don't really think that there's any point in Guzmaing there. I think I just want to save that Guzma. So let's just throw these puzzles back in and then go from there. This is just going to be mildly annoying and challenging for me, but I think that we can overcome here eventually. My opponent has just stuck me with this parallel really hard, and I have not seen a field blower yet. So this has been very difficult for me to overcome. As the Zoroark deck, obviously you want all 5 of your bench spots, but having to operate under parallel is just very, it's a reality of playing any Zoroark deck, just figuring out what to do with your bench spots. And that's where like the experience of playing this deck like really kicks in for sure. And where, these kind of little micro decisions here, like what do you put down? What do you evolve into? And then also like some of your order of operations stuff, like where I forgot to Evo Soda before I traded. That's the kind of thing that, you get from being a weathered and seasoned Zoroark player that I'm kind of missing out on here, but we'll see. My opponent seems to be going kind of gung-ho with their items at this point. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're at 8, so that is very good. And they discarded my Acerola. So we want to mix up the order of my deck because I know that my cards are on the bottom. I also want to keep that Rescue Stretcher. So Rescue Stretching some Pokemon back into the deck. It's a great way to mix up the order of my deck. So let's do that. We could throw in these guys, these guys, these guys. That should be pretty good. I don't actually think that Garbodor is going to make that big of a difference. I think we probably want to throw in a Zoroark as well. Let's just throw those back in. Okay. And I could always puzzle for the Garbodor back. So they're all shuffled in there. So I know that the order's mixed up. So I can draw another puzzle right now. I just don't think that I really see myself. Let's trade. I don't really think that I see myself playing. I could definitely Guzma. This Sycamore, I don't really see myself playing that. So let's get that going. I need a field blower like desperately bad. This is just like really absurd. Okay, let's trade away this. So we need to really, really see one. Come on. No, we've got double puzzle again. And still, no, there's only 16 cards left in my deck. I mean, I haven't really done a careful search yet, so I don't exactly know what's prized, but I might have prized like all 3 field blowers, so that would feel just super bad. At this point, I can go get that choice band though. I think my opponent, we said that they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 160. If I do get the choice band, let's just double puzzle here, play 2, and then we're gonna get that choice band so that we can actually knock out this circuitry who is like being pretty annoying. Let's get the choice band, and then probably also an N seems pretty good. Yeah, let's just get an N as well so that we can try to limit my opponent in some ways here. They've only got, I mean, they're doing pretty good. They've only got 4 prizes left to take, but we need to get cruising here. We need to do something. So let's retreat that Oranguru and then trash a Lanch. We can end my opponent. Ooh, we can end my opponent right now. I forget that I had not played any supporter yet. So there's a field blower. Very, very good. So that's excellent. So you're telling me they weren't all prized. That's good. Okay. So we've got that. And then there's a Trubbish. That's fine. That way I can actually stream Trash Lanch. So that's good. Let's just do that. So we're going to knock out that circuitry. That's excellent. 190 damage. My opponent should be able to knock out this thing, and I did prize at least 1 field blower, so there's that. Should be able to return knockout this Tapu Koko almost no matter what my opponent does, unless they like parallel me again. That would be pretty horrible. they are going to take themselves down to 3 prizes here, but I've got enough damage on board that I can, and there's another field blower, so we're good. Almost no matter what they do, we should be fine. They've got their Lantern up in play, so I get the kind of idea of their deck is that they want to just kind of gather up energy there onto that Lantern and then end the game with big, powerful sparks. They got like a ton of ways to keep this lightning energy in play. So pretty cool deck, definitely a pretty neat concept. Let's, at this point, we really don't need that field blower anymore. So I'm thinking that we're just going to trade away the field blower there. I like everything else in my hand. Let's just trade that. And then honestly, all 3 field blowers, like I just don't really need them anymore, but I kind of want to keep one. How many puzzles do I have? I think I have 2 puzzles in the discard pile, so I have 1 puzzle left, so I can trade away. Let's get this guy benched. Let's get this guy benched. And I mean, technically you would trade first before you bench, but it's just kind of visually helps me figure out what I'm doing here. And then I think we're either going to trade away the Guzma or the field blower. I think that we could just trade away that field blower, honestly, and just keep the Guzma in hand in case we need it to like win the game. Well, there's plenty of Guzmas around here. So let's just, knock this thing out. Ride is beating, 120 damage, good to go. Then my opponent will have like no energy left in play, and their only way to accelerate will pretty much be this electrode. So that's just gonna be game there. So we were able to end up pulling this one out despite a odd and rocky start, being trapped by my opponent's parallel city and not being able to smell a field blower for the life of us. But Trashland's just such a good, strong attack. Just being able to get there versus that circuitry that one turn was able to turn the entire game around. So pretty cool stuff there. And definitely a neat deck from my opponent's side of the field. Very cool. I love Raichu as a Pokemon. I love this card. I think it's a lot of fun. But I just don't know if Raichu will ever get its time to shine with such strong fighting Pokemon in format all the time. What is my opponent going for here? Maybe a Rangaroo? They have to draw cards. Just don't know quite what they are Ultra Balling their last couple cards in hand down to. Tapu Koko. All right, I get what they're doing here. So they don't want to lose. Obviously, if they leave that Raichu in the active position, they more or less just lose the game. So they will just hit me for, and if they GX, it's 150, I think, because I have 3 energy in play. So they're just going to do 130 here. And then I have Guzma on this Raichu for game. So we should just be cool. Retreat, unless I'm not like mistaken that, right? No, that's perfect math there. So let's just bring up that Raichu. End the game right here. Good game to my opponent. Definitely like way closer than I thought it was going to be. Super cool stuff. And thank you all for watching me kind of grind through things with Zoroark Garbodor. For all you guys that stuck around, thank you for watching. Able to pull that one out in the end. So cool stuff. And that first game, super duper rough. I mean, Zoroark Garbodor is just a very good deck. I mean, it stays pretty relevant next format as well. There are other psychic options. You got Banette, you've got Garbodor, and obviously you lose your Garbotoxin Garbodor, so kind of the ebb and flow of the deck does change a little bit, but still a very good deck, and Trashland is still just as strong as always. This is the list that I was rocking with there in those games. It's, pretty standard-ish, more or less at this point. This is like what a lot of the lists are looking like, and decided to go with the basic psychic energies instead of the unit energies. A lot of people are switching over to that just to make sure that you're not just getting totally blown out by enhanced hammer. So anyways, thank you all for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Wish me luck at the World Championships, which I am at right now. So I'm having fun in Nashville, kicking it, and make sure to look out for the vlog that I will be posting next week. Peace.